Hey everybody, Maria and I are back to hang out with you guys again. We missed you so much. We hope you missed us too. So I have my shorter hair Maria today, and we're going to be doing a blow dry with volume. When we do a blow dry with volume, we really want to concentrate the volume above the parietal ridge because we want to give height. We like to elongate the face. If you think about face shapes, oval face shapes are the most desired face shapes, are the most suited for most hairstyles. And you can really change someone's look by just adding a little bit of height to their hair. So today we're going to focus on that volume above the parietal ridge. So today I have just a few clips. These are my favorite clips. They're by a company called Framar. And I really like these clips. They're a duckbill clip, which makes them small and they're out of the way. But what I really like about them is this little, it's like a rubber band silicone material. What I like about this is that it really grips the hair and it allows it to stay in the hair better. So I really, really love these clips. When we're let out of our cages and you're able to go to the beauty supply, I highly recommend adding these to your kit. They're really great. So I have my clips. I have my Kenra root booster. I'm going to tell you about this in just a second. I have my vent brush, a brush with holes in it. And then I have my round brush. Now I've selected this round brush size because of the length of her hair. So according to the client's length of the hair is how you want to choose what size brush to use. Okay, so back to the root booster. So this is one of my favorite products. Sorry, it's kind of bright because of my light, but it's the Kenra Root Lifting Spray. It smells delicious, which I love, and clients love that too. But what I really like about this is it really gives a little lift on the root area without weighing the hair down, making it feel like sticky or coated in products. So I really like this one. So I'll teach you how to use this, but you don't have to use the blow dry. You don't have to use this in your blow dry today or any type of product if you don't want to, but I just always like to talk about products because I think product knowledge is an important part of our job. All right, so with my blow dryer, I have my trusty blow dryer here and my concentrator. This concentrator is a game changer when it comes to blow drying. This really helps to push the hair into the brush to allow for smoothness, and it also concentrates the air so that the air is not blowing all the other hair around and making it messy. It helps to keep the hair smooth and it directs that air. Another thing that I like about this concentrator, right here on most blow dryers you have metal vent here, and if you touch that to the client's hair you run the risk of burning their hair. So what this does is it allows you to really touch the client's hair on that brush without the risk of burning it. And you'll see what I mean as we get going. Now, I'm going to start with a rough dry. So I don't need this for my rough dry. What I want you guys to really focus on is getting the moisture out of the hair. The hair doesn't start styling until it's about 70% dry, so you can really get a lot of the work done quickly without having to continuously rotate and rotate and rotate. One thing that hairdressers are often develop over time in their career is something called carpal tunnel or tennis elbow, and what that's caused by is repetitive motions in our job. So doing the same motion over and over and over again can cause wear and tear on our joints and our bones. So the less repetitive work that I'm doing, the better it's going to be for my body in the long run. One thing that I really want to focus on when I'm blow drying this hair is to blow dry from the root to the ends, because that's the way the water leaves the hair, right? Is through the ends of the hair. So we want to think about that as we're blow drying. One thing I feel like when I see on the floor is that people are afraid to get their hands in the hair, lift this hair up, move it around, use it to your advantage, the blow dryer, and lifting that hair and getting that up, because that's where that volume is going to come from. Okay, So I'm gonna start blow drying, and I'm gonna try to not talk while I'm blow drying because it's gonna be harder to hear over the blow dryer. But you'll see how this works in just a few minutes. Also, one thing before we start, we always want to talk to our client about how they wear the front of their hair. Do they wear it to the side? Do they wear it down the middle? Do they wear it on this side? Do they like to wear it back and up? Or do they like to wear it more forward? These are all discussions that you want to have with your client before you actually start. This Maria wants to have a little lift in the front here, off of her face with a little bit of curl here on the side. So that's what we're going to give her today. All right, here we go. So you can see how I'm lifting this hair and moving it over this way. What I'm doing is I'm using this head as a giant roller, if you think about it that way. When you blow dry the hair the opposite way you want it to fall, when it comes back over, it's going to have volume. So that's what we're doing here. So you can see how I'm lifting that hair, moving it around, using my hands, getting it in there, and really trying to get that hair dry from the roots first. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to put my product in. I don't want to put the product in when it's too wet because then it can make the hair crunchy, and we definitely don't want that. Okay, so here, this is my root booster, and I love this stuff. It is the bomb. So I don't need to put this down below. I'm only going to put it on the top. All right, so I'm going to elevate this hair. What I like about this is the sprayer too, is it allows you to really concentrate that spray where you want it. I'm going to elevate this hair up like this to get those roots dry. That's where that volume is going to come from. Notice I'm always pointing my blow dryer away from my client. Never like this. That's going to burn them. We always want to lift that, point it away from the scalp. All right, so when I do blow dries, I like to create horseshoe sections rather than splitting it down the middle and splitting it down the side. The reason I like to do these more round sections rather than the traditional 4 quadrants is if she parts her hair over here, we don't want to part it down the middle. Also, the split this way and the split down the back, often if you blow dry that way and you leave the other sections pinned away, that hair gets dried in that direction. So it can often create like splits in the hair, and we don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead, and I like to use more horseshoe type sections. So I'm going to grab this, and I don't want to clamp it like this because remember, this is where my volume is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this hair in this horseshoe section, I'm going to twist the back of it, and I'm going to pin it to the side like this. Okay, so you can see that. I always like to work smarter, not harder. That's one of my jams. I like to do work as quickly and efficiently as possible so I can move on to my next client. So when I section, I'm using multiple clips in this fashion. So there's my second section. And now I'm going to pin up half of this section here so I can start my round brushing. Now, down here, I don't want a lot of volume. When you're thinking about brushing, the way that you elevate this hair, if I elevate it up like this and I'm lifting it like this, that's going to give me a lot of volume because I'm blow drying that hair the opposite way that it falls. But I don't want a lot of volume down here, so I'm going to keep it like this, like off base, roller set. Like if you think about a blow dry like a roller set, it helps to make a lot of sense that way. So you can see that I'm using that nozzle to push the hair into the dryer. I'm using the nozzle to push the hair into the brush, not the dryer. What the heck, Sarah J? Come on, get it together. And you notice that when I'm blow drying, I'm trying to keep that blow dryer pointed away from my client's head. I'm not pointing it at my client's head. We don't want to burn them. It's not comfortable. So same here, keeping it more of an off-base fashion. Not a lot of volume required here, so not much volume below the parietal ridge. So sometimes you're gonna see a vapor leaving the hair. It looks like smoke, but it's not smoke unless you're doing your blow drying correctly, okay? Some vapor when you're blow drying is okay. Because what happens to water when you heat it up to a certain temperature? Steam. You're right. I knew it. You guys are so smart. So some type of vapor when you're blow drying is not abnormal. All right, so you can see how I'm working efficiently with these sections in my horseshoe direction. So here you notice that my volume is a little bit more. It's not so down, it's just a little bit more. We don't necessarily want it all the way up like this, but more out at a straight 90-degree angle. So when you're blow drying too, another tip is you don't need to like move your hand around like this so fast. Okay, slow it down. Slow it down. Move that hair slowly. Allow that hair to actually heat up against the base of this brush. The metal of this brush is what's smoothing out the hair. The metal of this brush is what's going to curl that hair if you want to put curl in it. Okay. You notice that, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can twist Maria here. Okay. So you notice that my brush kind of diagonal forwards like this. The reason I like to do this because then when I let this go, this hair turns inward. I don't know if you guys have ever been blow drying and you're trying to get it to go towards the face and then the hair ends up flipping out like this. I found that when you angle the brush that way, more of like a diagonal this way, the hair turns in quite nicely. I don't know if you guys can see that vapor that just came, but that's more what I'm talking about. All right, so this is where I'm going to start my more volume-based technique. All right, so here. Now, in order to get volume, you have to lift that hair. So when I'm blow drying this, I'm over directing this hair. Okay, we want to make sure that we're over directing it because when you blow dry it this way, when it comes back around, it's going to have a lift and volume on it. Notice my blow dryer is facing me or here. It's never facing this direction on my client. That heat is going to get really hot, so we want to be mindful of that. Now, if I want to create curl on this hair, I can let it sit and let the brush kind of cool down a little bit, or I can hit it with my cool shot. When I do that, there's a curl that's put into the hair here. You can see that. Okay, so we're gonna leave a little curl in there, give her a little bounce and some body. All right. Again, I'm going to let that set for just a minute. I'm going to allow that to come out. We don't want to try to move it too much because just like with a curl, the way you let it cool is the way it's going to set. Now, when I get to this front piece, I'm going to lower her just a little bit so that I'm not straining my shoulders. Okay, so now when I do this top section, I'm going to blow dry everything back. So this is the part where I really want volume. So instead of just going straight up at a 90-degree angle, I'm going to over direct it at a little bit more of a 135.